All right, so let's go ahead and do a couple more examples going through all the steps. So step 1, again, always check for GCF. I don't see any more than one variable. 3 is prime, so unless 3 goes into 8, there's no GCF. So no GCF on this guy. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and list my factors for my A value and my C value. My A value is 1 times 3, and my C value is 1 times 11. It's super nice when that C value is also prime because there's only really 2 combinations excluding signs. So I'm going to go ahead and just pick an order, doesn't matter. So I'm going to do my 2 binomials. Does not matter if you put 1x and 3x or 3x and 1x. I'm just going to write it in the order I put my factors. Does not matter at all. Now the only way that C could be a negative 11 is if I have a negative 1 and a positive 11, or a negative 11 and a positive 1. So I have to have 2 different signs there. So just keep that in mind. Let me go ahead and highlight that in red so we don't forget about it. But I'm going to go ahead and just put 1 and 11. And the thing that's nice is occasionally you just get lucky on the first try. So let's just see. So we have our inner product is 1 times 3x is 3x. Our outer product is 1x times 11 is 11x. Can 11x and 3x give me a negative 8x, knowing that these signs have to be different? Well, 11 minus 3 is 8, but I want a negative 8x, so I'm going to do a negative 11 and a positive 3, and we just got lucky on the first try. So how do I get a negative 11x? Well, that's going to be the outer product, negative 11. How do I get a positive 3x with my inner product, so positive 1? All right, always just check your answer at the very end. Especially check these 2 signs to make sure they give you that. Does a positive 1 times a negative 11 give me a negative 11? Yes. 1x times 3x is 3x squared, so this guy's taken care of, this guy's taken care of. Let's make sure our outer inner works again. 1 times 3x is in fact 3x. 1x times negative 11 is in fact negative 11x, and negative 11 plus 3 is definitely negative 8. So all these guys are correct, so we got lucky on the first try. I'm going to go ahead and box that guy in. I'm done. That guy's done. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the second example. Step 1, always look for GCF. Well, there's no variables shared, so he's by himself. 2 is prime, but 2 often goes into other numbers. Well, 2 goes into 6, but 2 does not go into 7. There is no number that goes into 2, 6, and 7. So also no GCF here. So I'm going to go ahead and list my factors for my A value and list my factors for my B value. I'm sorry, my C value. So C is 1 times 6 or 2 times 3. So we're back to having a couple different options there. So we may have to run through a few options to get to it. But, I mean, it's not too bad. There's only 2 sets of options there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just change colors here. I'm going to start out with my binomials. The only way to get 2x squared is a 1x and a 2x. So I'm just going to put a 1x and a 2x. That's the only way. Here you can do whatever you want to. Start with 1 and 6 or 2 and 3. In any order, does not matter. I like to start with the smaller numbers first, but does not matter. So I'm going to go ahead and start with, I guess, 2 and 3 here. All right, let's check my inner and my outer product. Inner product, 3 times 2x is a 6x. Uh-oh, already doesn't look promising. 1x times 2x is a 2x. Well, 6 minus 2 is 4. 6 plus 2 is 8. There's no way that 3 and 2 are going to work as they are, but I need to try them in the other direction. So I'm going to go ahead and keep my same starting values. It's always going to be 1x and 2x. There's no other options. So just swap it. I'm going to put a 2 here and put a 3 here. And then just do it again. Check. My inner product is 4x. My outer product is 3x. Well, can 4x and 3x give me 7? Yes, there's only one way to make that happen if they're both positive. Well, that would make both my signs positive because my inner product is positive and my outer product is positive. Is a positive 2 and a positive 3 multiply to give me positive 6? Yes, that's good to go. Check my first thing again. Is 1x times 2x 2x squared? Yep. Check my inner, that's 4x and 3x, adds me 7. This guy's good to go. I checked my signs to make sure I didn't make any mistakes there, and I rechecked my inner and outer product, and we're good. So it took me 2 tries. Second try was the winner. That's my guy. All right, so I've got 2 more examples here. If you feel like you have the hang of it, go ahead and pause the video and try this guy on your own and then come back and we'll show you how it goes. Okay, so let's go ahead and step 1. We're always going to check for the GCF because it makes our life way easier. So again, there's no variable down here, so I know there's no shared variable. And then 2 does not go into 5 or 18. Well, it does go into 18, yes, but nothing goes into all of them. So there is no GCF on this guy. Okay, so listing my factors for my A value, I've got a 1 and a 2. My factors for my C value, I do have a couple more options. I've got 1 and 18. Oops. I've got 2 and 9, and I have 3 and 6. So I do have quite a few more options here. Here you just want to kind of just use your brain. I probably don't want to multiply 2 times 18 and try to get a 5. So I'm probably not going to try that 1 and 18 unless I absolutely have to. I'm going to start down here at the bottom and work my way up. So sometimes it's a little obvious, things that don't work, but we'll just try it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. There's no point in waiting. Let's go ahead and make note that I do have a negative sign there, so I will have to have either a -3 and a +6 or a -6, +3, whatever. I'll have to have 1 negative, 1 positive. But the only way to make 2x squared is by having a 1x and a 2x, so I'm going to go ahead and put those guys in there. And let's just start at the bottom. Let's go ahead and go with 3 and 6. Check my inner product. 3 times 2x is 6x. Oh, I can already tell we're in trouble here. 1x times 6 is 6x. There's no way 6x and 6x give me a 5x, so that's not correct. So let's change the order. So 1x, 2x. Always try the same pair, just swapped. Otherwise, you're going to be trying tons of things and forget what you tried. So do it systematically so you can make sure it's either right or wrong. Well, 6 times 2 is 12x. And 1x times 3 is 3x. I'm sorry, I'm writing kind of small. I'm running out of space. 12x and 3x can never give me a 5x. They can give me a 15x and a 9x, but not a 5x. So 3 and 6 and 6 and 3, there's no way either of those work. So I'm just going to go ahead and cross that off my list. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and try 1x and 2x. And you can kind of look. If I put a 9 right here, I'm going to be doing 2 times 9, which gives me 18. I don't want an 18. So on this next combination, I'm going to put the 9 over here and the 2 over here. So you can kind of figure out, without actually having to write it down, a couple things that are not going to work. So this guy might work, but I at least knew I didn't want an 18. This guy was way too small for an 18. Okay, let's try this guy. He's a 4x. And this guy is a 9x. Can 4x and 9x give me a positive 5x? Well, yes, there's only one way. That's 9 minus 4, so a negative 4 and a positive 9. Well, how do I get a negative 4x? Well, that comes from my inner product, so I have to have a negative on my inner product. How do I get a positive 9x? Well, that comes from my outer product, so I need a positive sign out there. Let's just double check our math, make sure we're good. Does negative 2 times positive 9 give me negative 18? Yes. Does positive 1x times positive 2x give me 2x squared? Yes, unless you chose the wrong factors starting out. Those things should always work out. And then we got a negative 4 and a positive 9. That does, in fact, give us 5x. So we are good to go. This is our final answer. Box them off. Check. All right, this next guy is a little bit different because if I look at the factors here, this guy is going to be 1 times 6 and 2 times 3. 4 is going to be 1 times 4 and 2 times 2. So we have all kinds of combinations. But what did we not do? We did not find the GCF. If you don't find the GCF, you're going to have a ton of combinations and you're going to have to do a lot of stuff. Make your life easier, find your GCF. So going back to GCF, what goes into all these terms? Well, this is 2 times 3, 2 times 5, and 2 times 2. So 2 goes into all of them. Well, this divided by 2 across the board, that gives me a 3x squared, a positive 5x, and a positive 2. So I've factored across the board. This 2 is just going to hang out till the very end. We're just literally going to bring him down with us till the very end. So the big mistake people make here is they'll still try to factor this new thing, or they'll just forget this 2 entirely. So don't forget your 2, but then just do the problem like you have been with that smaller stuff. Life is way easier now. I'm going to write them below. My factors are 1 and 3, and 2 and 1. So I only have, I'm going to go ahead and bring my 2 down so I don't forget. I only have really 2 combinations. I have to have a 1x and a 3x, and I can either have a 2 and a 1, or a 1 and a 2. So let's just pick a 2 and a 1, doesn't matter. We'll just try it out. If it doesn't work, we'll just try the other one. Okay? This is a 2 and a 5, which makes, I'm sorry, I just misspoke. A 2 times 3 is a 6x. I was looking up here. And 1x times 1 is a 1x. Cool. Well, can 6 and 1 give me 5? Yes, it definitely can, but that would have to be a positive 6 and a negative 1. But my sign is positive 2. I have to have 2 positive signs or 2 negative signs here. There's no way to make this negative 1 work. So this guy is not going to work because that sign, even though my numbers do add to be a 5, when I put them in, so this guy I would put in as a negative, but there's no way to make that a positive 2. So that is incorrect. So let's try the other combination. It has to work because there's only 2 combinations here. So I'm going to swap them. I'm going to put a 1 and a 2. 3x and a 2x. Well, how do I make 3x and 2x be 5x? Well, they both need to be positive. So I'm going to put the inner product is positive and the outer product is also positive. Does a positive 1 of the positive 2 give me positive 2? Yep. Don't forget this 2 just hanging down. Check all your math again, but this guy is going to work out. All right, so this next one, make sure very first thing we always check for GCF. It may not be as obvious on this one, but if you wrote the factors, this is 3 and 5 and 3 and 2. Oh, and this is 3 and 11. So the GCF is 3. Divide each term by 3, and you get 5x squared minus 11x plus 2. I wrote that kind of ugly, but that's okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and write my factors. This is 5 times 1. Oh, and 1 times 2. I love when it works out to be just 2 options. So we're going to go ahead and just try the first one. So do your 2 parentheses. I'm going to take my 5x and my 1x and just my 1 and my 2. Okay, let's check our inner product, which is 1x, and our outer product, which is 10x. Okay, can 1x and 10x give me a negative 11x? Well, the only way for that to happen is if I have a negative 10 and a negative 1. Well, we have a positive sign here, though. So let's look and see what happens with that. In order to have a negative 1x, my inner product needs to be negative, and my outer product to get negative 10x also has to be negative. Does a negative 1 times a negative 2 give me a positive 2? Well, yeah, in this case it does. So that works out. 5x times 1x, 5x squared, negative 1 and negative 10 is negative 11. We actually got lucky on our first guess here, and there's our answer.